360 days, 35,040 hours, 2,102,400 minutes. This is the time which makes up 4 years. And even though it sounds like an eternity, it really went by in the blink of an eye. Now, I find it very hard to recap everything that's happened to me in high school into a 2-minute speech. There have been many long, repetitive, and monotonous days. But among them, I have found something truly special. I found deep and meaningful relationships with teachers and friends alike. I found knowledge, growth, and myself. When I came into Legend as a freshman, I had no idea what I wanted to do or where I wanted to go. But now, 4 years later, nothing's changed. I still don't know where I want to go or what I want to do. I crave success, but I don't know where I'll find it. I feel like the whole world is ready for me and up for the taking. And that's the problem. I don't know what part of the world to take. Perhaps I will become a prominent businessman, or maybe I'll be a teacher for the next generation. I don't know the answer to any of these questions right now. What I do know is that Edge has given me the tools to create my own future. As I speak to you today, I want to tell you that high school has been a wild ride. It's been full of memories and good times. And as I look to the past, I look even more forwards to the future. I know that life hasn't been easy for me. I've had many challenges, trials, and struggles along the way. But despite all of this, I have prevailed, and I have overcome. I know that life isn't going to be easy for any of us. In fact, everybody behind me on the stage, life's going to get pretty tough for each one of us. But I know that despite all of this, we will overcome. And will we break? Will we shun the fight? No. We are ready. And we are prepared. And even though I don't know how I'm going to change the world, I know that no matter what I do, I will.
It was in the lunchroom at Cimarron Middle School when I first heard Dan talk about Edge. He talked about owning my learning and creating my path in the world. I was sold. I was ready to try something new because I was bored with regular school. I went to my parents that day and I told them about Edge. They definitely had their concerns, but agreed to learn about the program. We went to an exhibition night to learn more. They were still skeptical about Edge until we met Mo. He talked about the Edge philosophy and how kids were already benefiting from the program. Then, my parents were sold. When I joined Edge, I was a shy freshman, only driven by grades. The more time I was in the program, the more I changed and grew into the person I am today. Outgoing, driven, and fearless. Without a doubt in my mind, I can say Edge shaped who I am today. I had personal relationships with every single mentor, and they pushed me to achieve more than I thought I could. I failed forward and truly embraced my inner dork. The program led to so many different opportunities outside of the classroom. I was able to start clubs to pursue my passions. I was able to go on trips with other students to build some of the best friendships I've ever known. I ventured out and found amazing internships and organizations to devote myself to. Because of all this, I've created a very bright future. My experience in Edge has been truly impactful and life-changing. I would like to thank all the mentors and Dan, because next year I will be attending my dream school, the Colorado School of Mines, with a full ride scholarship to pursue my goal of being the first geologist on Mars. I couldn't have done any of this without Edge. I have definitely owned my learning and created my own path in the world, paved with rocks.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The first time I heard this quote, I didn't fully understand it. I just thought it was a quote about the dedication, a quote about determination, a quote about discipline. I remember it was one I wanted to keep with me, but grasping the full meaning of it wasn't very important. I don't think naive little freshman me thought there even could have been a fuller meaning. During my sophomore summer, I was backpacking through the middle of the New Mexican desert, more specifically Philmont Scout Ranch. Through this trip, I was pushed beyond my limits. I underwent a lot of personal growth, and I remember one night I was sitting on a hill looking up at the vast stars, and I pondered everything: my life, my goals, and more specifically, what I wanted out of my life and what I wanted my goals to be. I realized I was not living the life I wanted and decided that needed to change. That's where the quote I lived by started to grow. At first, I thought it was just a quote about making consistent progress. But now I realize that it meant more than that. It meant that a single step now could change your life drastically. That a single step could have you ending up in a far different place. As soon as I got home, I worked to improve my life. I decided to make a plan to make consistent positive changes each and every day. Whether it was going to the gym or learning a new fact, I wanted to improve each and every day, and I did, every day, without fail. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and my journey has just begun. I'm not quite sure where I will end up, but like a pretty famous song, ain't nothing gonna break my stride.
All throughout my high school career, the word EDGE has meant many different things. Starting my 3 years, I was embarrassed to say I was a part of the program. Today, standing here, I have never been more proud to not only say that I am an EDGE student, but I will be graduating as a second class to make history in EDGE. The topic I wanted to focus on tonight is family, not only family, but saying goodbye to one. I never really understood how a group of people who are not blood related to you could become your family until I entered the EPAR doors. And the idea of having to say goodbye has haunted me for years, and now here we are, so I'm going to do my best to thank every single person who has walked the same EPOD halls and reminisce in the memories. First off, I wanted to say thank you to all the mentors for putting up with my loud, crazy self. And I will greatly miss annoying you, McCormick, along with Jackson, Hyatt, and Mo. I am even shocked to say I will be missed being called Mom. The idea of not being able to walk these halls again is unthinkable. As I walk down the halls, I can still smell the grilled cheese and pancakes walking from Mo's science room during crew time. I can hear Hyatt singing and jamming on his acoustic guitar. I hear the deep conversations in Boucher's room, and Withy singing in Spanish, not understanding a word. McCormick and Jackson's ping pong balls bouncing back and forth, and Ling was in her class doing Just Dance. I even still remembers Mo's password to his laptop. Science rocks. Sorry, Mo, you should probably change that. I will miss being able to turn on High School Musical so Brock and his friends will perform during class and we end up not getting anything done. I will never be able to thank you all for the experience of a lifetime. I will never forget the family that was created my first day of school freshman year. We have been through so much together, from crying from anxiety 20 minutes before an exhibition night to breaking a lot of the school rules. I could go on and on about what happened in the wood shop, but let's just say there might still be some lime green paint on the school halls. Hall floor. I will always cherish every moment that was spent in the four walls called EPOD, where my family will always reside.
Listen, a lot can happen in 4 years. I have encountered success, failures, and hardship. I felt happy, I felt sad, I've learned and I've discovered. And you know what? It all started here 4 years ago. You know, high school isn't anything like I expected. I'm not sure exactly what I did expect, but what I got was definitely a surprise. I remember on my first day of high school, I was walking down EPOD, ready to get off to a good start, and, well, I encountered a teacher, and, well, let me just say, it didn't quite go as planned. Some of you may remember him. His name was Mr. Withy, and, ooh. Yeah, I got in a fight with him on the first day of school. I did not see that coming. Here's a little tip. Don't call him Darren. You know, Edge is really unique, and it's something that I'm really glad that I was a part of. I've seen it grow, and it's really been something special. I've seen the good parts of it, I've seen the bad parts of it, but nonetheless, I am really thankful that I've been part of this amazing program. Compared to who I was 4 years ago, I am barely recognizable. And that is because of EDGE, my mentors, and my peers all contributing to helping to shape me into a person that I can be proud of. I've completed many projects, I've done so much research, and I've learned a lot, but it's not just things I'm going to forget once I get out of school. Instead, EDGE has gone out and taught me real life skills that I can use in my future. I've made meaningful connections with both mentors and peers, which is not something that I thought would be possible in high school. It was really a unique experience, and it's not anything I could get with a normal curriculum, and for that I'm so grateful. High school was definitely an interesting experience. It was a time for discovery, learning, and growth. A lot can happen in 4 years, and 4 years is all it takes to make a difference.
I am 17 years old. I am 5'2". My favorite color is pink, and I can predict the thoughts of everybody in this room. Right now, I'd wager that half of you are thinking, what do any of these facts about this kid have to do with tonight? Where's the motivational speech, the achievements, the theatrics? Well, let me start off by saying I am not a theater kid, but I can tell you about how the EDGE program has helped me up to this point. I am the kid who lives in the future, always anticipating what comes next. And when I joined EDGE, I learned that I wasn't the only one. Dan and so many of my mentors were asking the same questions that I was. Questions like, what do we do next? It was questions like these that my mentors and I took to heart, and it was questions like these that helped motivate me to work towards my future and to what I wanted to achieve. And now, starting on the last day of August, I will be attending Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design, or RIMCAD, to pursue my passion for drawing and my desire to share my talents and dreams with the generations to come. I could not have achieved this without the help and support of all my mentors here in the EDGE program, as they were not just mentors to me, but they were my friends. They were here to support me and everyone else in the EDGE program, and they pushed our limits to the brink to help set us up for success. Additionally, without the help of my creative friends, I would have never been able to improve my own style and submit a portfolio to RIMCAD, the college of my dreams, to start my first term with them in the fall. I am more than grateful to all of my friends who helped me along on my path to success. Right now, I bet you're thinking about your own future and what will come to pass in the days ahead. And I'll leave you with this one final message. The road ahead is winding, and no matter where it may take you, I know it will be amazing.
I remember the first day of high school like it was yesterday. Walking through the halls, trying to figure out how to open a locker, and then finding myself in a gym, sitting in the freshman section, and Mr. Jacobs telling us that these 4 years were going to fly by. I didn't believe him at first, but here I am, in a blink of an eye, standing here as a senior with only a few days left until graduation. As a small, timid freshman, I didn't really have big dreams. Honestly, I didn't really see myself going to college. I hated school, and I definitely didn't want to do it for another 4 years. I had a lot of people in my past tell me that I wasn't good enough, or that I wasn't going to make it, discouraging me from my dreams. But through all the hate, I found people who believed in me. I surrounded myself with friends and teachers who wanted the best for me, and I can say with certainty that I wouldn't be where I am today without the people in this program, and I can't thank them enough. I went from a little freshman who didn't know what she wanted to a strong, passionate senior who has a future ahead of herself. I have lived through 4 years of inside jokes, crazy, spontaneous adventures, and maybe some not so great decisions. But don't worry, they will balance out with some of the best decisions of my life. I'm a huge believer that everything happens for a reason, And the truth is, one day, all of us will be separated from each other. We will miss our conversations we had, and nothing. We will miss our conversations of everything and nothing and the dreams we had. Days, months, and years will pass until this contact becomes rare. Then one day, our children will see our old pictures and ask, who are these people? We will smile with invisible tears and tell them it was them that I had the best days of my life with.
Established in 1941, the most iconic, capable, legendary 4x4 in the market ever since. The Jeep brand, born in a hurry, in the midst of hard times, struggle, and loss. Not only symbolizes true grit and perseverance, but a strong will and eager to fight to protect what we know is home. In Edge, we are taught to be greater than ourselves. Jeep's core values are none other than freedom, adventure, authenticity, and passion. In Edge, we are taught to be greater than ourselves, to push past our limits and find what truly makes each one of us unique. Similarly to the Jeep brand, we're all unique, but we all didn't start out this way. We all started at the same assembly plant, work done by the same employees, making the same income, slowing our progress of what we can truly become. What makes the Edge students unique is the aftermarket accessories each one of us adds on to ourselves. Whether it's learning a new skill, brushing off the dust of an old one, or even researching a new topic you never knew about. Personally, my love for the Jeep brand has not only increased, with my love for the outdoors and the future of driving trucks. My experiences at the Edge program have done nothing other than support me in my future, which I wouldn't have gained in traditional school, where all I would have gotten is a regular oil change and a tire rotation.
I have learned so much about myself in these past 4 years. I learned how to make lifelong friends. I learned how to create bonds with my mentors. I learned how to persevere through tough times. Throughout these 4 years here at Legend, I've participated in so many activities and created so many memories. I will always remember going to football games and cheering so loud that my voice is gone. I will always remember walking down the halls during Wish Week, seeing everyone all dressed up for one event. I will remember being a counselor to the freshmen at the Outdoor Edge last year. All of these memories will walk with me throughout my life. Although I have had many teachers and many field trips, McCormick definitely has the best field trips. We went to New York and DC, and although it wasn't a beach with 80 degrees, I loved it just the same. We saw so many things from the culture to the history. Not only did we see all these amazing places and do all these amazing things, but we also built a bond with each other that could never be broken. After my 4 years at high school, I have made so many friends that I get to call family, who I can count on and they can count on me. Not only have I made so many friends, but I also learned how to make bookshelves, which is scary coming from me. Bookshelves to friends, to family, to trips, these past 4 years have made me who I am today, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Over the days, the months, the years, I have chiseled away at the timeline of my odds, slowly sculpting my own theater. I know how to move and stretch long rested limbs. I know how to read the knowledge of others and etch my own words. I know how to design a plane, a train, a house. I know the lyrics of songs forever forged in my soul. I know how to make friends with a fellow traveler as we step upon the winding trail. I know that life is a journey much more enjoyable with friends. I know that sometimes, though, you must wander, blunder, and stumble in the silence of your own soul. I know the fear of chronic illness, the vile bite of anxiety, and the roaming hydra of self-doubt. I know what it's like to be labeled, judged, and shunned, lumped into a group, and punished for something beyond control. I know that every day is precious, and to hold on to your world, never to let go. I know that your soul is not only your own, for with every action you take, you leave little bits and pieces behind. These bits and pieces breathe life into everything you do and is what makes your world meaningful. At the end of the day, I know what I believe, what I have seen, and what I've learned. I know what I've experienced, what I've lived, and what I've done. And above all else, I know that every single day I will surprise myself.
We've heard from a lot of different people today. Future CEOs, handful of musicians, a couple of geniuses. But now I get the honor to hear from what just might be Edge's worst student, and I take that title very seriously. It doesn't come easy, but nevertheless, not the best GPA, and a couple of failed classes later, here I am projected to walk the stage on May 19th, and I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, that is nothing short of a miracle from all the teachers that somehow never gave up on me. Now, if you expect me to stand up here and say how much I wish I did better in school, or how much I wish I tried harder in all those projects, nah. I, Andrew Weech, solemnly swear that these past 4 years have been a wild ride with crazy twists and interesting people. Would I change anything in my long laundry list of terrible decisions? Oh yeah, 100%. But here's a message to all you out there. You can't. You have to stop living in yesterday and start living for tomorrow. And if I could tell the incoming freshmen something, it'd be this. Apparently, if you fail classes, it matters. And if you fail too many classes, it really matters. They won't let you graduate. Who knew? Find your passion. It took me 2 years for me to truly find my passion in music. Don't let it take that long. Get good grades, or at least, for the love of God, don't fail as many classes as I did. Do a whole lot better than me in school. I got here by the skin of my teeth, and I would strongly advise against it. Grades apparently are important. Trust me, that's been made all too abundantly clear to me this senior year. But maybe, just maybe, that's not all that matters. The most important things I've learned for these past 4 years have been far from the classroom. Things like how to listen, how to actually communicate, when I could have cracked a joke, and probably when I shouldn't have. So yeah, grades are important, but also it's having fun, meeting new people, and living your life. So here I stand challenging all of you out there. Don't you dare float through life without smelling the roses. Don't you dare stop realizing the beauty and lunacy in shackles and rules. And just like my hero taught us all in 1986, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around and once in a while, you can miss it. So yeah, catch you on the flip side.
Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. Benjamin Franklin. Throughout my experience in Edge, I have learned how I learn best. Involvement. In elementary school and middle school, I was not engaged, so it was much harder for me to comprehend and understand what I was being taught. But once I hit high school and I was enrolled in the Edge program, everything clicked. The past 4 years, we have made many different projects that I have learned so much from. Some of my favorites are when we made our own countries in freshman year, Get Amped, and soap making. Each of these projects are so different but taught me so much because I was involved. Also, these past 4 years, I have learned how to be an adult. With all of these skills that I have learned, like learning how to present, going into the world on intern days, and having the freedom to learn how and what I want. One of my favorite experiences that I got throughout high school is a New York DC trip. This experience was one to remember. I learned so much that is not in the books. During this trip, my love for travel and photography really grew. I saw a whole new side to myself because I was doing something that I loved and I was involved. Then, probably the best part of the 4 years are the teachers that have helped me to get where I am today. We have had so many great teachers that just wanted us to succeed. Some have come and gone, but every single one of them have made a huge impact on my education. They have all made sure I was doing something that I loved and that I was involved. I am grateful for the Edge program for helping me find my love for learning.
Years ago, I heard a poem. A line from that poem that resonated with me to this day was "Live your dash." The dash was a metaphor for the time you spend between the day you're born and the day you pass away. At the time, I didn't know what that truly meant. It feels like I was just a freshman yesterday, starting out in this little program at this big school. I
I was more involved than ever these 2 years, and I participated in every opportunity that was presented to me. This resulted in new, lifelong friendships, accolades, and amazing experiences. High school changed my life and me as a person. I've been able to do amazing things on this little 4-year journey of mine. I've made friendships with mentors and peers. I've accomplished so much, and overall, I've grown as a student and a friend. I've done more in these past 4 years than I ever imagined possible. And throughout all of it, the EDGE program has taught me what it truly means to live your dash.
Robert Frost once said, "Two roads diverged in the wood, and I took the one less traveled by." To me, this is EDGE. EDGE presented itself as an opportunity to learn, and learning a method more meaningful than just grazing from class to class. This was my road less traveled by. Through EDGE, I've been able to accomplish projects and have experiences I would have never thought possible. And through my time spent in this program, I've learned one lesson in particular that will stick with me for the rest of my life. Try. It's just a simple word, yet its meaning is far beyond that. I learned to try everything I can. Try every experience, try every project, and most importantly, try my best. I can't tell you how many times I thought a project was going to fail, that everything come crumbling down. Yet I tried, and I succeeded. Though stressful, I found that when I tried, the pressure formed a diamond rather than turning me to dust. I want to share an experience with you that happened solely due to the fact that I was willing to try. The summer of my freshman year, I was given the opportunity to live in Spain for a month. This is one of the most thrilling, fulfilling, and radical experiences I've ever had the opportunity to do. There, I discovered my passion for language, travel, culture, and I experienced new customs, beliefs, and people, all who have helped shape me to who I am today. And to think, it all started because I was willing to try and learn about another country. People say high school is just a stepping stone to bigger and better things, yet, looking back, I can't seem to imagine what would have happened if I didn't try. If I wasn't willing to challenge the idea of education and ultimately challenge myself. What road would I have traveled? Where would I be? All I know is that, like Robert Frost once said, and this road has made all the difference.
4 years. 4 years of memories, laughter, tears, and everything in between. I started off high school in normal school. I never felt motivated in normal high school. I always found myself getting missing assignments, never really feeling intrigued in what we were learning, and just being plain bored and striving for more. That's why in my sophomore year, I finally decided to join the EDGE program. I got to let my creativity run wild in the Get Amped project. I got to use my critical thinking skills in the college book. Sure, my first exhibition night, I was terrified. I thought I couldn't give a speech without nearly having a panic attack. Now look at me, speaking in front of all of you. And now I stand in front of all of you with a dream to become a music journalist someday. I'm going to MSU to strive for that dream. And I'm going to have a goal to hopefully interview my favorite band someday with my journalism degree. These past 4 years have been the best 4 years of my life, and I would never trade them for the world.
Although I may not have been in this world for a long time, I have learned many lessons and skills from my journey of education and experiences in my 18 years of life, starting my first job as a sophomore in high school, making my own decisions and not relying on others, learning to drive and going on my own adventures, truly getting to live my life with nothing other than the law to hold me back. Like anything in life, it's always scary the first time. The first time I took off from Centennial Airport, the first time I talked to an air traffic controller, I was winging it. I was scared and didn't know if I was going to do it right. Am I going to crash this plane? Am I going to mess up the radios and end up at the wrong side of Centennial Airport? But I'm I'm still here and I found many people to help me along the way. From the beginning of Edge, our mentors have always been there for us. They have been there for me in my darkest hours and helped me see the light at the end of the tunnel. For me, that end of that tunnel was high school. As of right now, I feel like a bullet train rushing through the end. I'm about to go through that exit and onto new horizons. Those new horizons can be nice rolling fields with cows grazing, or it might just end up being a cliff along the coast with harsh water and even harsher rocks jutting out at the bottom. Yeah, I don't know what's on the other side of that opening. I don't know, that's going to be a new start and a new beginning for me. Not having to follow a pre-designed path in which I can deviate from. I'll be truly free. Yet here I am, making it through 18 years of being on a path made for me. Now that I'm free of the rails of childhood, I'm going to change. I'm working on changing my last name, a dream of mine that I've had for at least 5 years now. Living on my own and having more responsibilities without anyone to hold my hand. Am I scared? You bet I am. Because who can make the best decisions for me other than myself? I will always accept a guiding hand, but I'm going to be the one who goes on the adventure. The earth is massive, and in comparison, I'm the size of an ant. I may be small comparatively, but I have big ambitions and desires.
Edge isn't normal. Now, I know this sounds weird at first, but let me explain. For the longest time, I thought that education was binary, that there was a one-size-fits-all for learning. I always strived to be at the top of this curve, to get the best grades and to regurgitate as much information out onto a Scantron as I possibly could. This is the education system that I was used to, although over these years I've realized that it isn't exactly the most practical. This is the perspective that Edge has given me. You see, Edge has changed my perceptions. I remember my first exhibition night, being so freaked out because I had to give a speech, first of many as it turns out. I also remember looking over my work that night and being so proud because it was mine and not anyone else's. I'd finally broken the mold, and school wasn't just a succession of tests and quizzes anymore, because this time I was making the questions that I was answering. With that mirror and many more, I was able to grow tremendously. Through internships and immersive projects, I was able to create my own path, one that didn't fit the model that had been drilled into my head for the previous 8 years. And the friendships, relationships, and experiences I've had along the way are ones that I will always cherish. And being able to watch my peers grow with me over these past 4 years has been a pleasure. It's hard to believe that it's been 4 years already. 4 years at this school and 4 years in this program. I often think back to how this program has shaped me over these years. I think about it when I'm writing speeches like this one. I think about the new perspectives it's given me whenever I discover a new piece of myself through which to view the world. And I think about it when I remember that shy 13-year-old that walked through EPOD doors on that first day 4 years ago, only to be standing in front of you today, 4 years older and a heck of a lot more confident in my abilities. This is the growth that Edge has facilitated. You see, this is why Edge isn't normal, because we don't strive for normalcy, but excellence. Edge has given me the tools to become self-reliant and resilient, and with these tools, I know that any challenge that is thrown my way, I'll be able to handle. Why? Because my education wasn't normal, wasn't binary. Because I didn't strive for complacency. Because I was an Edge student.
It took a lot of random chances for me to be in the position I am today. Impulse decisions, mistakes, and unpromised outcomes. These things have a bigger impact in life than most of us realize. On the first day of school, on the first day, second semester, freshman year, I walked into my intro guitar class. I saw Mr. Moore playing and singing a familiar song. I was instantly captivated. I had never taken the time to really watch a live musical performance. This ended up becoming my biggest passion. Music was both challenging and exciting every single time I would work on it. I got the opportunity to see what happens when you trust the process and stick with something over time. Some of my best memories will be trying to figure out how to play songs with my friends. The work ethic I developed from studying music gave me a new appreciation for all the Edge teachers. I could see they were passionate about their individual subjects and how they were excited to see us learn the things they once did. The best way to learn is from mentors who care about what they do. And enough can't be said about the friends I've met along the way. No matter what happens, I know they'll always be there for me, inspiring me and helping me through hard times. Although it was a lot of luck, mistakes, and unpromised outcomes, I wouldn't change a thing about where I am now.
Nothing is ever as it seems. Some of those things being myself, Edge, and the world we see it. If you told myself 4 years ago that I was the same person I am today, I would not believe you in the slightest. Since I was this weird, untalkative, unmotivated kid that now has grown into a college-bound adult. And that is looking forward for the next chapter in my life. And that all started with a program called Edge. I've heard many students' regrets over the years. And when I take a look at my education and the difference between normal and Edge, I see a big difference. Since in normal education, it's too fast and you memorize things and then you regurgitate it onto a test and then it's graded for a letter. And that letter is determining your worth in the world. Since being an Edge, I've been able to do many amazing things, like go on job shadows with family friends and see how their day-to-day lives are. Or going to a Colorado's Rockies game and seeing what all goes on behind the scenes that normal school doesn't get to see. Since being an Edge, I've gotten to do amazing things and meet amazing people, make amazing friends, learn from the best teachers and mentors. And I truly, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank everyone for helping me after the way.
On my first day of high school, I cried. I cried because the upperclassmen had booed at me during my freshman welcoming assembly. And to be honest, it terrified me. I cried because it scared me. I was always told by previous teachers that the seniors would help me get where I needed to go and get me there safely. I knew my high school journey wasn't going to be anything like a high school movie, like High School Musical, but in that moment it felt like it was, because the seniors were just as mean as everyone predicted. Once again, I still now know that my high school experience is not going to be anything like that, and even back then it was painfully clear. If it wasn't before, it sure was as soon as the pandemic hit me in the middle of my junior year of high school. Now I'm a bit sad that I didn't get to boo the freshmen back this year. Sorry, parents. On my first day of school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to be. And animator was my first choice, then meteorology, and then graphic design. The last 10 days of high school are here, and now I'm still not sure what I want to do. And it scares me. However, I know that I'm creative, and I'm passionate about a lot of things. So I know I'm going to find something. So in that way, I'm a little less worried. On my first day of high school, I wasn't sure who I was. On my first day of high school, I had no idea who I would become. Now, in the last 10 days of high school, I know who I am. My name is Madison Ransom. I have the mind of a story writer and the hand of an artist, and yet the patience of a fly. At 7, I trained to be a black belt because my parents wanted me to have a bit more backbone. Who knew it was going to take a pandemic and a scary man named Danielle Symington to get me there? And at 17, I learned how to hone my skill in art. At 3, I saw a tornado, courtesy of my grandmother wanting to take a picture rather than get me and my baby brother to the basement. That's right, I haven't forgotten. But honestly, if she was here, I'd thank her, because without her, I wouldn't have found that passion that I have today. I was trained by the National Weather Service itself and got a certification in order to chase the storms that fascinated me so. My future is a lot like the skies I chase. Clear some days while still being cloudy, while other days there are tendrils that droop down from the heavens while creating no damage. They pique my curiosity and I follow them further. On my first day of high school, I cried. On my last day of high school, I'm sure I'll be crying for a very, very different reason. Senior year. The end of an amazing 4 years of opportunities I got to see and experience. The years that I made friends that I never thought I'd get to know. The friends that have been there with me through so much. We might be loud and often crazy, but there are not enough words in the world to express how much I appreciate them being in my life. However, these are not the only relationships that I have made in my 4 years here. I have made amazing connections with my mentors, who have not only helped me through schoolwork, but life in general. Like the time I was so sick freshman year that I almost passed out during a celebration of learning and ended up missing a month of school. They were still there to help me learn and have fun. Or like the time my confidence began to drop. They were also there to help build me back up and even allowed me to go to amazing places such as Spain, New York, and DC. And because of them, I have seen sections of my life that I never even began to consider. They have also taught me to break down my own barriers. My confidence is now something I am extremely proud of. And while I still do get nervous, of course, I know how to work through it. I have also learned how to fight for what is best for me. And I know that might sound weird coming from a high schooler, but just accepting things was starting to take a toll on my mental health. While I don't have time for regrets, not that I have any, I do have time to grow. So while I stand here thinking about my 4 years in high school, I consider all of the things that I have gone through, every single decision I have made. And so when I was thinking about tonight, there was one thing that I could only consider. And while it sounds cheesy, it is what I know, that I wouldn't change it for anything in the world.
4 years ago today stood a shy, shelled, broken student who wanted to do nothing more than grudgingly push through his day at school with a fake smile and hope high school would be an easier trip. While everyone dreaded about getting on the bus after school since it was always packed and too much drama about who was talking to who, it was my escape from reality as I watched houses pass by and planes fly high above the sky. I'd push through the front door of my house and tell my mom that it was another great day, even though I knew I wasn't having the education that I wanted. People always asked if I was happy with what I was doing with school, and I would say, I've learned enough. Even though I had no set direction for the future, Edge changed this for me and gave me in my life goals for education that I've never had before. To simply put it, the great mentors and amazing peers participating in Edge had saved me from a mediocre education and gave me the greatest possible chance to reach my goals. That shy and scared student was me. In front of you today stands a student that has had the best growth and learning experience possible. Not only have I had the best high school education, but I got to walk through this journey with the best peers that I have ever met and even greater mentors that I see as lifelong friends. No more am I that sheltered student who hates social interactions and hates to talk to others. No more am I a broken student who does nothing but writes on paper worksheets that I won't remember by the end of the week. I am a student who fights to learn more about what I am passionate about and strives to the best that I can be. And when those people ask me if I am content with my education, I simply look back and say, not yet, because we're only getting started.
When I was a freshman, I was terrified. I walked into Legend High School, and I was absolutely terrified. I was quiet, I didn't talk a lot. I never wanted to raise my hand in class, and all I wanted to do was go home and read a book all day. Now, standing before you today, I am not that same person. I have changed so much throughout these 4 years, and I attribute a lot of those changes to Edge. I've made lasting friendships here, grown as a learner, and have overall grown as a person. I stand before you today, confident, loud, pretty dang funny, and an entirely different person. I attribute a lot of my confidence to Edge. The opportunities I've gotten as a result of joining Edge will always stick with me. It's because I've been able to speak to the community multiple times about projects I'm passionate about. It's because of the failures and successes of past projects, the tears both because of overwhelming stress and overwhelming joy. It's because of my friends, the friendships I've made throughout these 4 years with people that make me happy, make me confident, and bring out the best in me. My parents once told me at the beginning of high school that these 4 years would be the best years of my life. I definitely didn't believe them back then, but I agree with them now. I wouldn't trade these experiences from high school for anything, and I'm lucky to have such amazing mentors and peers around me as I celebrate tonight. Now, as I look towards the future, I'm terrified, like I was when I was that little freshman, but I'm confident that I can face anything that comes before me, as I'm not that same person that I was 4 years ago. I'm terrified, but I will make that jump. You see, we stand on the precipice of change and see inevitable plummet into the abyss.
shouldn't be scared of that abyss, because it is only when you leap and fall that you learn whether you can fly.
Here's a few things you should know about me. I have an odd fascination with the smell of gasoline and laser-engraved parts. Yes, you heard me, laser-engraved parts. Yes, even when the entirety of EPOD smells of it for days on end. I'm a sucker for an adventure with a crazy beginning and no end in sight. I like to socialize. A lot. I have a winder-powered attention span. It doesn't last long, and it takes a lot of energy to get going. But I have a solar-powered body, which loves the outdoors and thrives off of optimism in any good time. Not only am I all of these things, but I'm also a STEM enthusiast. As many of you know, I've carried a quote spoken by one of my idols in the STEM field. She accomplished so much during her lifetime as a scientist. Mary Curie's words have been with me all 4 years of high school. I first found the quote as part of one of our very first projects in EDGE, metaphor machines. The first time I was on a stage, I even spoke those 29 words. So as I wrap up my final days of high school, I find it fitting to end with a full circle back to the quote. It touches heavily on a theme I've yet to master: to persevere. You'll want to give up on many things in life. You'll tell yourself it's too much, or you can't. I know because I've told myself these things. But let me tell you, you can, and you will. Because to persevere is to challenge yourself. To persevere is to try new and scary things. To persevere is to ask for help even when you don't want to. To persevere is to stand up for what is right. To persevere is to be successful. And as Mary Curie once said, we must have perseverance, and above all, confidence in ourselves. We must believe that we are gifted for something, and that this thing, at whatever cost, must be attained. My final words to you: find your gift,